Hello there. Today we are going to be doing the Hunger Games simulator, and I have a pretty epic lineup going on here. We have in District 1 we have Stalin and the Bidoof army. In District 2 we have XXX and Gekime. In District 3 we have Your Mom and Grug. In District 4 we have James Charles and SCP-5004, which is the gay virus. In District 5, we have Herobrine and John Doe. In District 6, we have SCP-173 and SCP-049. In District 7, we have Gamer Yoda and Gamer Andrew. In District 8, we have Sal and Mur. In District 9, we have Gru and Vector. In District 10, we have Obama and Skipper. In District 11, we have this number of the grid, and Phineas. In District 12, we have Gradium Online and Piano. Now, I've seen this go many ways. The first time I tested this, the entire Hunger Games was over in 2 days, and the second time I tested it was a lot more interesting. So let's just get into it. Right. Herobrine runs away with a lighter and some rope. James Charles runs away from the cornucopia. Gekime runs away from the cornucopia. Skipper, Sal, and SCP-5004 work together to get as many supplies as possible. Mur falls into a pit and dies. SCP-173 runs away from the cornucopia. Your Mom runs away from the cornucopia. John Doe runs away from the cornucopia. XXX runs away from the cornucopia. Gamer Andrew runs away from the cornucopia. Gru runs into the cornucopia and hides. SCP-049 runs away from the cornucopia. Vector runs away from the cornucopia. Phineas stays at the cornucopia for resources. Stalin runs away from the cornucopia. Piano runs away from the cornucopia. Grug stays at the cornucopia for resources. That number of the grid snatches a pair of size. Gamer Yoda grabs a shield leaning on the cornucopia. Obama runs away from the cornucopia. Gradium Online runs away from the cornucopia. The Bidoof army finds a bag full of explosives. Alright, time for day 1. Bidoof army explores the arena. Obama receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Gamer Yoda receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Phineas scares Gru off. Gamer Andrew overhears XXX and SCP-173 talking in the distance. James Charles discovers a cave. Skipper, SCP-049, Grug, and Your Mom hunt for other tributes. Piano shoots a poisonous blow dart into Herobrine's neck, slowly killing him. Gradium Online and Gekime split up to search for resources. SCP-5004 kills Sal with a sickle. That number of the grid scares Stalin off. Vector practices his archery. John Doe sees smoke rising in the distance, but decides not to investigate. 3 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Mur, Herobrine, and Sal. Phineas and Gradium Online run into each other and decide to truce for the night. Vector thinks about winning. Gru fends SCP-173, that number of the grid, and Grug away from his fire. SCP-049 convinces Piano to snuggle with him. Bidoof army begs for Gamer Andrew to kill him. He refuses, keeping Bidoof army alive. Obama, Gekime, and James Charles successfully ambush and kill Your Mom, Skipper, and Stalin. John Doe, XXX and SCP-5004 cheerfully sing songs together. Gamer Yoda unknowingly eats toxic berries. Piano, John Doe, Phineas, and Gru hunt for other tributes. Obama, SCP-049, XXX and Bidoof army hunt for other tributes. James Charles begs for Grug to kill him. He refuses, keeping James Charles alive. Gamer Andrew thinks about home. Gradium Online receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. SCP-5004 injures himself. Vector and SCP-173 hunt for other tributes. Gekime questions his sanity. That number of the grid thinks about home. A fire spreads throughout the arena. John Doe survives. SCP-049 survives. SCP-173 survives. Gradium Online falls to the ground but kicks Gru hard enough to then push him into the fire. Bidoof army survives. XXX survives. Grug survives. Gekime kills Piano in order to utilize a body of water safely. The fire catches up to Gamer Andrew, killing him. The fire catches up to Obama, killing him. James Charles survives. SCP-5004 survives. A fireball strikes that number of the grid, killing him. Phineas survives and Vector survives. 9 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Your mom, Skipper, Stalin, Gamer Yoda, Gru, Piano, Gamer Andrew, Obama, and that number of the grid. Phineas and Vector sleep in shifts. Gradium Online destroys SCP-173 supplies while he's asleep. SCP-049 tends to his wounds. The Bidoof Army and James Charles hold hands. Gekime accidentally steps on a landmine. Grug poisons SCP-5004's drink. He drinks it and dies. XXX Tentacion passes out from exhaustion. John Doe attempts to start a fire but is unsuccessful. Vector, Phineas, Grug, and XXX Tentacion hunt for other tributes. James Charles begs for the Bidoof Army to kill him. He refuses, keeping James Charles alive. SCP-049 tends to SCP-173's wounds. John Doe explores the arena. Gradium Online dies from an infection. 3 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Gekime, SCP-5004, and Gradium Online. XXX and Tentacion attempts to start a fire but is unsuccessful. Phineas thinks about winning. SCP-173 tries to sing himself to sleep. James Charles, Bidoof Army, and Vector cheerfully sing songs together. Grug lets SCP-049 into his shelter. John Doe sets up camp for the night. The cornucopia is replenished with food supplies, weapons, and memoirs from the tribute's families. Grug decides not to go to the feast. James Charles decides not to go to the feast. SCP-049 sets off an explosive, killing XXX Tentacion, John Doe, and Vector. SCP-173 repeatedly stabs Phineas to death with size. The Bidoof Army decides not to go to the feast. Grug collects fruit from a tree. SCP-049 hunts for other tributes. James Charles searches for firewood. Bidoof Army fishes. SCP-173 accidentally detonates a landmine while trying to arm it. 5 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. XXX Tentacion, John Doe, Vector, Phineas, and SCP-173. Bidoof Army, James Charles, Grug, and SCP-049 tell each other ghost stories to lighten the mood. James Charles tries to sleep through the entire day. SCP-049 injures himself. Bidoof Army shoots a poisonous blow dart into Grug's neck, slowly killing him. 1 cannon shot can be heard in the distance. Grug. SCP-049 begs for Bidoof Army to kill him. He refuses, keeping SCP-049 alive. James Charles receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. James Charles hunts for other tributes. Bidoof Army travels to higher ground. SCP-049 picks flowers. No cannon shots can be heard in the distance. SCP-049 cries himself to sleep. James Charles and the Bidoof Army hold hands. James Charles tries to spear fish with a trident. Bidoof Army constructs a shack. SCP-049 sees smoke rising in the distance, but decides not to investigate. Again, no cannon shots. Bidoof Army bashes SCP-049's head in with a mace. James Charles bleeds out due to untreated injuries. That means that the winner is the Bidoof Army from District 1. Here are the rankings. If you would like to see. I'm going to see who has the most kills. Alright, so it seems that Gekime has the most kills, actually, with 4. And that's really all I have to say about this.